I've got three things I wanted to say. Suella Braverman, I mean, I'm a right-wing Conservative. Anyone that's ever met me will tell you that I'm a right-wing Conservative. I'm not a member at the moment. I left after they slung Boris out, rightly or wrongly, that's what I did. First of all, I cannot believe that she's got the sheer brass neck to talk about immigration when she was Home Secretary and did absolutely nothing about it. And I'm talking about legal immigration, illegal immigration. She did nothing. She was totally ineffective. And I heard on Tom Swarbrick's programme this afternoon, that excerpt from that speech that was beamed across from the States. And I have never heard such a load of bigoted nonsense in my entire life. I mean, as you said earlier, the language that she used to talk about gay people and trans people and that sort of thing, the whole younger generation must have been screaming with horror if they were unfortunate enough to hear it. And I don't know who she thinks that she is going to get to vote for her. I mean, as I say, I'm not a member of the Conservative Party anymore, but I can't imagine that any normal Conservative is going to think that any of that is acceptable. It's extraordinary, the rubbish that she came out with. I'm just amazed. I'm horrified what she said. I think that's just dreadful. And it's not just a question of the language. Some of the content was really bad as well.
I agree with that. And I decided to call it out because, and I think I said, she must be stopped from being leader of the Conservative Party. And as long as there's a breath in my body, I will make every effort I can to do that. Now, I can only do so much. But people who have the views that you do, have the views that I do, have got to come out and call this stuff out, because otherwise she and her like will get away with it. I
don't think she's going to be leader of the Conservative Party, and I don't know.
She does.
I'm not a member anymore. She thinks she is. I don't think she will be. I mean, I really struggled with this election. If you'd been the candidate, I would have leafleted for you. I'd have actually gone door to door and canvassed. As it was, they parachuted that guy who I've never heard of, and I did go and vote for him. I'd ummed and ahed, and Head said vote Conservative, Heart said vote Reform, because they were saying other stuff that I agreed with. But I did vote Conservative. But to be fair, if what she said does not appeal to me as a proper right-wing Conservative always had been. I ran the Vote Leave campaign for the Vote Leave organisation in Tunbridge Wells constituency when we had the Brexit vote. And I've always been to the right of the party. But if what she says horrifies me, there is no way she's going to become leader of the party.
Yeah.
Because even if the whole party was like me, please God, they won't vote for her, because she was an incompetent Home Secretary. And the fact that she's coming out with all this, as I say, bigoted nonsense now, I mean, I was just astonished. I don't know where it comes from. I mean, Tom Swarbrick pays a big chunk of it this afternoon. I couldn't believe it. I'm just astonished. I'm amazed that Rees-Mogg sat and listened to it and didn't walk out of the conference, because I think I thought better of him.
I fully support what Suella said. My only criticism is that she didn't say this 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Do you support the language that she used to say it?
What language do you find offensive? Do you think it's appropriate for government buildings, institutions to be flying that flag everywhere?
Well, I think if I was Home Secretary and I objected to a particular flag being flown on the Home Office, I would think that I would have the power to take it down. But she for whatever reason, didn't take it down or didn't order it to be taken down. She basically blamed the civil service for it.
Yeah, and I think you'll find therein lies the problem. What part of her saying a flag, which a lot of people find just odd.
Well, you were just about to say offensive, weren't you? What's offensive about the pride flag?
The pride flag, as it once was, the rainbow flag, great, it's a celebration. Those chevrons is flying, I am part of the gender ideology cult. And that has got no place. What of the flag? Do you have a disability flag on government buildings, emblazoned on trains, emblazoned on buses? You don't. Why is it that flag, it's been co-opted by trans activists to fly everywhere. And I just can't understand that you are more concerned with her tone than you are about the content, about trans, the danger that this ideology poses to trans children. I say trans children, children who are being trans. That's the issue, not her tone.
No, there are ways of discussing that issue, but when she uses words like monstrous, child mutilation, that sort of language, I think that has to be called out. I said in cross-question that I had a text from a senior Conservative today saying her speech can be summed up as, I couldn't run my department or work with colleagues, so I should be leader. And I think that just sums it up, basically. If she was so competent and if she was so against immigration, she was Home Secretary, for goodness sake. Why didn't she do something about it, apart from label immigrants invaders?
Can I just come back with 2 points on that? The first point is this business about tone. I think people that have had concerns about this have spent 10 years gently, delicately, thoughtfully, like J.K. Rowling, trying to really reason with people and discuss it, and there's been no debate. And the moment someone says, please, we need to, this is a serious, dangerous ideology, straight away, what's your tone? How much more gentle can it be than...
I don't agree. I don't agree with that. And I mean, on this subject, on gender identity, I side with J.K. Rowling and that side of the argument. But I can have a perfectly reasonable debate about it, as can my colleague Tom Swarbrick, who often discusses this subject, without resorting to the kind of inflammatory culture war language that she's using.
Culture war. And I think one other point that I think is so important in this is that the trans issues have completely, because they know it's bonkers, they wouldn't have got the political capital where, if they didn't attach themselves to the LGB aspect of it, if you separated those two things out, then there wouldn't be any issue. We'd be able to have a grown-up situation. One last point before you cut me off is that, unfortunately, this whole trans ideology is quite a lefty middle-class thing, and a lot of these lefty middle-class people that are now in charge have all got trans children, and it's going to be very difficult to have any serious conversation about this, because who's going to want to raise the issue with trans children being medically sterilised, when you're talking to their parent who allowed that abuse to go on. And I think that it's going to be very difficult for us. Suella, we're not going to be able to discuss it now for at least 5 years. It's all going to be...
that's simply not true.
We just won an election. When I say we, I mean the Labour Party. It's fantastic. Keir Starmer's in. We want to talk about serious politics. People like Suella Braverman, Truss, Mogg, all these people, the truth of the matter is, the country has told you, we do not want to hear from you. We don't want to know. All of this divisive talk, I can hear in your voice, Ian, yeah? You are very, very angry about this whole situation for what she said. And the reason why you've kind of taken it personally, because I can hear it. I can hear it in you. The reason why is because you're gay, and you've taken that as a bit of a slight towards you. But you never called it out when she was, taking liberties with migrants, with just...
Oh, yes, I did.
Well, okay, you know what? Maybe you did, but from my perception, yeah, maybe not just you, but the right-wing media have enabled these people to get out of their box like this. And it's all that's happened now is they've lost their election, there's no leadership, so there's no consequences. They can say what they want. And all we're hearing now is the real views. These people have been here all the time. This is what they've been doing for 14 years. They've been taking out a group of people and trying to blame them for this, blame them for that. They are completely, utterly hypocritical. How can she come on the thing, start talking about immigration, we should do this, we should do that? The truth is, we don't want to hear about it. There's so many things that are going on, yeah? Housing, interest rates, childcare, better relationships with Europe. We've got so much real serious politics and serious work to do. We don't want to deal with all this childishness. I've got 3 kids that go to school. I'm perfectly happy with the sex education they get in school. I'm perfectly happy with the trans policy, whatever that is. I don't see any trans kids in there. This does not affect the majority of us. This is a tiny proportion of the country, a tiny little thing. They blow it up and they blame everything on them. At one point it's the Muslims, then it's the gays. And you know what? We made big progress with people being gay. But the truth is, because we've just let them creep and creep and creep and creep, now they're coming for you, Ian. Can you see what I mean? Now you're getting angry about it. The truth is, we don't want to hear it. We don't want to know. Get out. Liz Truss lost her seat. Good. Mog lost her seat. Badenoch, I can't believe she kept her seat. The truth of the matter is this. If the Conservatives put someone like Suella or one of these jokers as their leader, as a Labour supporter, this will be great because you lot will never win an election. You lot need to realise, the country is not stupid. And if you cannot see the drumming you got at the ballot box, if you can't take that as some sort of sign, message, you're still opening your mouth 2 days later, coming out of all of this. We don't want to hear it. Let's get some serious work done.
The reason I'm talking about this tonight is not just because I found her comments completely offensive, but because I think it's emblematic of the debate that the Conservative Party is about to have. Does it become more right-wing or does it appeal to the centre? That's in essence what they've got to decide which direction they're going in. And I'm saying that if they go down the rabbit hole of trying to out Farage, well, they will get another drubbing at the next election. You're deservedly so.
Right. This country is not racist, really. I'm not saying this kind of got structural racism. What I'm talking about is we all just get along, really. That is the truth of the matter. All these groups that have come off, 14 years, we've had things like the EDL. If we look back, look what's happened to the last 15 years. It's got out of control. We've always had the right and the left, but the right have always been reasonable. I watched a video of John Major the other day speaking here, and I was thinking, wow, this is real conservatives, how the conservatives used to be. You might not agree with them, but they're normal. All of this trans issue, all of this, is it a man? Who cares? The normal person in the street does not care. They just want to pay their bills.
Well, quite. Io, listen. Would you like some listener feedback to your call? Because I'm getting lots of texts. Somebody here says, Io, what a dude. He has my vote. Somebody else says, the guy's awesome. And then someone says, play Jerusalem while he's speaking. You should go into politics, Io.
I don't know about that. But all I can see is at the moment now, I trust Keir Starmer. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Labour are going to fix everything in one go. But you know what? The first thing what Labour has done for me, they've just made us feel like we're serious. We're a serious country now. We're going to actually come up with some ideas and we're going to try and, yes, taxes might go up, but we're going to do things in a logical way and we're going to put people in the positions. So you're with science, you deal with science. You're with transport, you deal with transport. We're not just going to go out and say, it's all the single mothers' fault. It's the immigrants. Look at the boats. Let's spend £200,000 per person to send people to Rwanda. We are not stupid. We know these things don't work. These people for 14 years, because they've had the reins of power, because they've had the eyes of the media, you would have thought you were living in a different country. But what I see on what the issues that they're bringing up, remember Rishi Sunak, who say, these are your priorities. These are your priorities. I'm thinking, whose priorities are you talking about? People just want to get on. That's all we want to do. You know what? People just want to go on holiday once a year, have a little car, be safe. Don't go down the road and get stabbed. You're telling me about trans. You're telling me about immigrants. Come on, people want to go to the hospital. Yeah, I nearly died when I was 15, right, Ian? I got meningitis. I rushed to hospital, out of school. Within a few minutes, I was saved. If I'm totally honest, today I don't think that if it was the same situation, that person might be saved. These are the things that we are worried about. These are the things we want to talk about, focus on, and we want ideas for.
I could listen to you for the next 10 minutes at least.